We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route and how fast. Almost all the world's constitutions are documents in which governments tell the people what their privileges are.
Hey everyone, welcome once again to yet another episode of Two Noobs Talking. It is episode number 95. And with me, of course, are my two good friends, Mr. John Tracy and Mr. Steve Murray. Happy to have you with us. I'm, of course, Matt Craig. John, not donning the fedora. I think first time in Two Noobs history, you're going with a different hat. Love it, man. What's going on?
Very flat. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something on my head because my hair's a mess.
Speak for yourself, pal. You know what I'm saying? And Mr. Steve Murray, how are you today, sir?
I'm well, but he was not wearing a fedora. Illinois Smith wears a fedora.
That is very true. Thank you for that correction.
I don't know that we ever figured out the name of the hat.
It's a Jeff cap.
A Jeff cap, there you go.
Now we know.
Actually, I'm sure that's not the technical term either.
No. I'm going to just call it that because,
That's awesome. I don't wear any hat. I mean, I could don one for the episode.
Oh.
You look so weird with a hat.
It's
It
Two Noobs
really
history.
does, yeah. It's high too. It's one of those big. It's like 7 7/8 circumference. I got a big bulbous head over here. I don't know what's going on.
John, you gotta.
Yeah, the
Kind of get that broom going.
there
There you go.
I like the flat feel because I don't wear them.
Yeah.
So
Everybody has different styles. I mean, that's what I love about it.
when you when they're flat because they'll be on for like 3 seconds and then I take them off.
That's funny. It's like sometimes it's like I do also what Steve has. Steve has like that real nice. You're bending that brim down. You know, you get that.
That's the old baseball way.
Heck yeah, absolutely.
I always kept them flat because I have 3 Eagles hats, and during the Eagles game, I'm very, you know me, I'm very superstitious. So I could wear 3 different hats over the.
Doesn't matter as long as
over the course of the game, it could go like pretty rapidly. So I always kept them flat, and I always kept them like this.
Okay, off to the side.
Take them off, change them out. Well, that's literally why it's flat.
There you go. Love it. Well, guys, as we always do, we always try to figure out who wore the episode number in the city of Philadelphia. And 95, not that many. No Flyers, no Philly, definitely no Sixer. But we did have a few, small list here of Philadelphia Eagles that wore 95. One of them, of course, was Super Bowl champion Michael Kendricks, who then got into a lot of hot water in the
doing that thing
season.
Nancy Pelosi did.
Yeah, well, her husband did. Her husband did, not her. Her husband.
Her for everything he does.
You don't get the reference. Episode 94. I say what it was explicitly.
Exactly.
Screw it. Insider trading.
Anyway, moving on from that, but then we also had Jerome McDougal, much touted, first round pick of the Philadelphia Eagles, who flopped terribly and awfully. It was one of Andy Reid's mistakes in the first round. It seemed to be. Yeah.
And as I recall, looking at that draft board, we could have had one of Dallas Clark or Jason Witten.
Yeah, I'd have been okay with either of them.
Yeah, we kind of
Had nice careers, both of them.
Yeah.
They don't have as big of a neck as McDougal, but I mean, hey.
But then going into the throwback machine, guys, how about we talk about one Richard Dent, who did not commit a uniform violation. We found out in pre-production they wore 96. I think it was for the Indianapolis Colts or something like that. I think for 1 year, and then came to Philly in the last year of his career. I think he had like 3.5 sacks or something like that in 97, I want to say. I'll have to check that. But yeah, he wore 95. So, Jeffrey Lurie, great job. No uniform violation there, man.
No uniform violation, but once again, another star at the end of his career.
Yeah.
When it's too late.
It was gone when he's too late. But we did have William Fuller, who also wore 95 and was a pretty good defensive tackle. Part of that 94-95 Ray Rhodes era, bringing him in off free agency. Okay, we need a defensive stuffer, and he actually played very, very well. Like over 30 sacks in a 3-year career.
It was 26 over 2, like 13 and 13.
Yeah, something
Yeah. I mean, he was a beast. And I think originally from Houston, and then went to us, and then I think San Diego ended his career there. I think that's where that.
Ray could always find those guys.
Yeah.
Off-the-keep guys that still had a lot to give. You know, just floating around. Ray knew football, like that part of football.
Ray knew defense.
Yeah, defense. He wasn't grabbing quarterbacks.
Exactly.
But if he grabbed an interior lineman or a linebacker, they normally had a good season for him.
Brian Dawkins' first head coach was Ray Rhodes, and he loved Brian Dawkins, and it definitely showed. Obviously, it was the right pick.
I don't think. If there's a person on this planet that hates Brian Dawkins, get off.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how you can.
Go to the moon, for God's sakes.
First person to Mars is the dude that hates Brian Dawkins.
One thing, real quick, there was I think I saw NFL Throwback had name your secondary. Who would be your, two cornerbacks and two safeties, and I think I ended up choosing Charles Woodson and Darrelle Revis as my corners, with Polamalu and Dawkins as the safeties. And I don't know about you guys, I think that secondary you're not getting thrown on at all. That was during the 2000s era, by the way.
That reminds me, Polamalu was the pick after McDougal, was he not?
Yeah.
He was, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
oops.
That could have helped.
Exactly. Could you imagine if you had Polamalu and Dawkins in the backfield? I mean, my goodness gracious, that would have been unbelievable back then. But I think we ended up okay, at the end of the day, with Dawkins, the Super Bowl champion.
I don't think we ever found a good pairing with Dawkins, but
No. Yeah. Well, we'll see. But in any event, guys, why don't we move on to topic number 1? And one Steve Murray forwarded this, and anything that has to do with the destruction of Penn State, I absolutely love. A little tweakage there on Temple. Sorry. There you go. Love it. Penn
I didn't
State,
get the memo. We were hating Penn State.
Well, I mean, sorry, we're just throwing that in there right now, Johnny. I'm sorry to put that on you real quick, but
It's all good.
in any event, Yahoo Sports article here: Penn State setback in vintage brand lawsuit could shake sports industry. It was written on Monday of this past week. Trademark law has disrupted name changes, of course, for the Washington Commanders /
we talked at length about that.
which we did. Cleveland Guardians, of course, did the same thing. Cleveland Indians. Now a new court ruling challenges long-standing assumptions about trademark protections for logos, symbols, and other marks that distinguish sports teams. So on July 14th, this judge denied Penn State's motion to dismiss a counterclaim brought by Vintage Brand, an online retailer of vintage t-shirts, throwback hats, retro tees, similar products associated with sports teams. Goes on to say that Penn State offers a more critical description of vintage, blasting as a serial infringer that blatantly uses its websites to sell infringing merchandise from many colleges and universities. So you look into it, and we're not going to show their website on here, but they do have a lot of vintage throwback logos that were created. We're talking probably 40s, 50s, early 60s, my guess. And this particular article, we're going to just flash it up here on screen. There's a table that shows what the Penn State University logos are. And then on the right, you're going to see the vintage logos, and they're very, very close to one another, I guess you could say. But I'm going to go with Steve on this since he brought it. What are your thoughts, Mr. Murray, on this whole thing?
Let me start from a procedural standpoint, just to clarify. So Penn State brought a motion to dismiss early in the case, basically arguing this counterclaim had no merit. And what the judge is saying is, there might be something here, I'm going to let it proceed. So this is not a final ruling or final determination on the subject. It's just the case is going to go forward with this as part of the claim. So ultimately, they may find that there is a trademark violation here down the road. But
quick question to the lawyer. He's letting it play, but he's letting it play with that still in the background, right? It could show that it doesn't have merit. Could he still rule on it later?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay,
after discovery is complete and you've gone through a trial, ultimately he could say, yeah, this does not have merit.
Okay.
But at this stage of the proceeding, he says it's too early to just say that it has no chance. The only way you can dismiss a claim that early is when you say, well, no reasonable juror could reach this conclusion. And apparently this judge felt like there was some merit to this counterclaim. But trademarks are, if you watch Dr. IP,
throwing that in the card, upper right corner. There you go.
Trademarks are a way to designate the source of a good or service. So Dr. IP's example was the Coke bottle. You see a bottle with that particular shape, you immediately say, oh, that's a Coke because Coca-Cola provides that bottle, that's their product. And if somebody else were to use that, Coca-Cola could say, you are confusing the consumer because they see that bottle shape. They're going to think it's Coke when it's really not.
Great example of that too. Remember years ago, McDonald's was selling, I think it was like a Coke float, but they had like glasses. And to your point, the bottom of that glass had that Coke shape to it, essentially. But McDonald's couldn't say, that's our glass. It was a Coke branded glass, essentially.
Oh, sure. They would have been licensed.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
So the issue here is one I had never thought of, and I'm not sure many have thought of this before, but so that's an Eagles hat he's got on, it looks like. My hat's probably a better example because it's PHI can be its own thing. But this is the Temple Owl, right?
Yeah.
I don't look at this hat and see this and say, oh, Temple is the source of that hat. You know, the source of the hat is, 47 brand or New Era or you know,
one of the 952 New Era brands that they have.
Right. This one's top of the world. I don't know what that is. So you never look at the hat or the shirt or the apparel and say, oh, well, that came from Temple, that came from Penn State, that came from the Eagles.
Sure.
That came from Starter. That came from Reebok
or Nike or Adidas.
Or Nike
or New Era. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it just has the logo on it. And the argument this vintage company was making was, well, the logo on there shows you support the team. It doesn't show the source of the goods, so it's not functioning as a trademark. And people aren't going to get confused. And I read that, I'm like, wow, that's actually not a bad argument.
Yeah, it's a great point you mentioned here because it says here, Vintage doesn't dispute the obvious that it's using Penn State-related properties. Instead, it claims it has a right to do so. Vintage says its use of marks is purely ornamental and for mere decoration. These marks, the company says, do not serve to identify Penn State as the source or origin of the goods. In other words, consumers might not believe that Penn State is behind these goods. Trademark protection is generally appropriate for identifying the source of the goods so that consumers aren't confused. Exactly to your point.
Now, I'm not a daily trademark lawyer, so I don't know the intimate intricacies of the rule. But my suspicion is when you're getting into licensing of, your trademarks, there might be confusion as to whether or not the product is licensed. I don't know whether that's going to be enough to defeat this counterclaim. It might be somewhere to go. There's also, I would think there'd be copyrights in, stuff like this. You could go that route too.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting question. And I guess depending on how it goes, maybe those guys standing outside the stadium, selling the Eagles shirts with the skewed head. Maybe they'll have a leg to stand on now.
Just a little bit. Yeah, John, you had a great point in pre-production, I think it was. You had a friend, I think, right, that had a t-shirt that had ill written across it, right? And so it was something to the... I mean, why don't you talk about that? Because that's like... You're talking about I guess to this point, you're talking about a cutoff of a logo. Go ahead.
He started the whole thing and made a pretty decent penny. And then the Phillies just ran him over. You could still find them all over the place. You could find them online now. But originally at the start of it, it's like this, but it wasn't like this. It was like, you can't do that, don't do that, or feel the wrath.
Yeah.
Now this was it said ill, right?
Yeah.
But it was basically they took the middle letters of Philly.
Of the Phillies logo. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
My guess is
the 3, because remember it used to button 2 different ways. That's the whole joke of the ill is because it was at the heart of the jersey. There's a whole the culture behind it. And Phillies didn't like that.
My guess is unless you're visiting irreputable sites to find these, my guess is what you're seeing out there now is probably licensed by the team.
Most likely, I think it is licensed by the team.
You see that officially licensed by, could be NCAA or officially licensed by National Football League or something along those lines. You see that language all over the place,
You should definitely buy from those because the product is made better. But
typically, yes.
But it also a killer of creativity. There you go. On that one out. Because you don't get cool stuff from the general marketing of the Phillies. You get cool stuff from people's ideas that they normally steal, and then
that's a really good question, John. I guess that's my question. I guess in a way to Steve does that not having the creativity, is that saying that it's more monopolistic, saying like a team can control its own logo and put out certain things into the marketplace, i.e. this is what we want our image to be, and we don't want anyone else having another image, making a profit. I guess that's I don't know.
Well, yes, I mean all intellectual property is basically a legal, not
illegal.
Legal monopoly. That's sanctioned by the government, which it's to reward things like innovation, creativity. You should have the right to exploit your own creation without somebody else, as long as you're not stealing from somebody else. And so I get John's point, it does stifle creativity, but I mean you could be creative without stealing from others. I mean, frankly, the one logo that really caught my eye in this article was this stupid looking cat that you would never ever associate with Penn State. But there it is with Penn State behind it on the shirt.
It's like the Nittany Lions broke uncle. Exactly. Like you could draw a trash can around him and he's on the side.
You could almost see
this
him.
This is why we're trashing Penn State. No pun intended. Right? At the end of the day. But it's interesting that the article saying it might shake up the sports world in regards to this, guys. I mean, that would be a very interesting. If Vintage is allowed to do this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's not controlled by a college or university.
I'm all for companies coming along and producing affordable hats, affordable shirts, instead of everybody's got to pay $39.55 for a T-shirt,
licensed whatever,
for your 13-year-old that when he's 15 he's not going to fit in it, and that shirt's going to be useless. You know what I mean? I that's the way it used to be. Yeah. Before all the NFL grab and you can't find anything that's not licensed by these guys at this point.
Well, and
NFL was responsible. NFL's responsible for killing Tecmo. Super Bowl, basically, because they exclusively licensed all their stuff to Madden. And so other types of NFL football games had to go by the wayside because they couldn't use team logos, they couldn't use player names, anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. And that I think is valid through 2026. I mean, the NFL and EA Sports, or Electronic Arts, signed a new agreement that lasted another 4 years. In the gaming world, if you talk to anybody in the gaming world, the hardcore folks, they hate Madden because of what it has become. It's basically just a copy paste of next year's the old version, and it's buggy and it's all kinds of stuff, and it's like they're just not happy. They want to have more options available, but they're just not finding it right now. Exactly. So there are pros and cons, and combine that to the fact that the sports world business itself is massive. It is a massive industry across the United States. Everybody wants the replica this or the authentic that, and it generates a ton of not only just interest, but merchandising and all kinds of things. It's crazy, the amount.
Well, I mean, worst case scenario, if this counterclaim is completely successful, sports teams, universities, they're going to lose all control of use of their logos and stuff, and people can just go crazy.
You got the Nittany 9 take a piss somewhere. I mean, who knows? Kind of a deal. I don't know. Yeah, you never know. You never know what might happen. I mean, it could be all kinds of lewd stuff. Who knows? I mean, people are crazy out there.
My guess is you're not going to see it get that far.
I would think not. Yeah,
I would think if this were submitted to a jury, I feel like people are more accustomed. They would see this kind of like the vendors on the street. These are like rip-off guys. They might not be so willing to give them unbridled. Go ahead and use the logo for whatever you want to do with it.
Yeah.
I think if they rule in their favor, they'll rule with some kind of dignity clause. At least something where you have to at least sign some sort of contract with said brand that you're going to. Yeah. Although I could take that Temple logo, I need to at least go through their HR department and be like, hey, my name's John. I'm going to be printing this shit. You know what I mean? If you got any questions, here's my phone number. I have to sign this because I can't just, but you know what I mean? Like, you're going to have to do some legwork.
I'm sorry, Mr. Tracy. We cannot let you sell your shirt with the owl humping a Nittany lion. That's just not...
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think there's going to be some kind of... I couldn't see a judge being like, "Hey, fuck them. We'll figure out what happens later." That's not how that's going to work.
Yeah.
Even if they rule, there's going to be something's going to be put in place.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, guys, topic number 2. And, with COVID running still rampant in the area, of course, we're talking about workdays and worker wellness. And BBC had a very interesting article here. The case for a shorter workday. Shorter workday, not, we're not talking like 3-day work weeks. Well, we'll get into that, but here we go. The focus on worker wellness and company productivity during the pandemic has some employers toying with new approaches to the work week. Much is being made of the 4-day work week, where you basically work Monday to Thursday, you give everybody off Friday. While 3-day work,
you do 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Ah, yeah. See, ding, ding, ding.
Math.
While 3-day work, while 3-day weekends are nice, condensing 5 days of work into 4 can prove stressful for some workers.
Sure.
I bet. And their employees. However, some organizational psychologists suggest shortening the workday. Instead of 8 hours, they want to go to 6. With the idea being that the shorter workday might just focus more attention. You get more done in those hours as opposed to going a full 8 hours. Now, gentlemen, this is a very interesting topic. That's why we brought it up here on Two Noobs. John, I'm going to go to you first on this one. You were going from... You're out there on the field. You're out there every single day. I'm going to ask you, how often do you work during the day, number of hours, and what would you say if someone came to you and said, I want you to work your hours instead of from whatever it is down to 6? Your thoughts? What do you think? Do you feel you would be more productive is my question.
No. No, because now you're putting a smaller time frame on getting something done.
Yeah.
But I also work in an industry where I work until it's done. So it isn't. I'm not going in there and being like, all right, well, I'd see I'm gonna fuck off until noon, and then blah 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 blah. Like I'm there anyway,
Right. Exactly.
If I'm fucking off on my phone talking to you guys, in the middle of the day,
yeah,
I'm still making that time up. later on. Like that's
Yeah,
if I'm sending a couple texts and I'm like those 35 to 45 seconds or that 15 minutes or whatever it be, if I'm talking to my wife, that just gets tacked on to the end of the day. So I'm not ever winning if I'm,
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, John, but my understanding of what you do, it's not 9 to 5 on the schedule. You go to a site and do the work, and when it's done, you're done.
Yeah, when it's done, and if fuck all goes wrong, guess what? Fuck all, I'm still there.
Exactly. You're getting until the problem is solved. Exactly.
And that's fine. That's what I choose. But I can't see in working in other industries before this. I can't see a 6-hour work week working at all.
I would agree.
Because I think the 8-hour work week is perfect because people get the fuck off in an 8-hour work week. And people like to fuck off. And that's fine. People like to not work while they're working. That's okay.
That's not going to change if you make it 6
hours.
Yeah,
it's not going to change if you're going to make it 6. You're going to get less production is my whole point. Because now you're giving them 6 hours to fuck off, which they could probably do it in 4. What are we going to go to 4 next? Soon we're going to hire people to work for 1 minute. That's what it seems like. Like they're trying to make employees happy the wrong way.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is
Why don't you just give them a little bit more money and ask them to get 6 hours done in 8 hours?
You would think. In theory, a shortened workday, this is from the article, in theory, a shortened workday may seem fanciful. After all, employers want to get as much of workers' time as they can. The idea of the 8-hour day is so ingrained in industrialized society. Yet, there are powerful arguments to be made for the shorter workday, linked to increased worker well-being, potentially heightened productivity. I'm not so sure about that. I would disagree.
That's a lie if you think people... Yeah. I mean, are there people out there? Absolutely. There are probably that put 14-hour workdays that put us all to shame. You know what I mean? But we're generalizing it. With the United States, there's nobody balls to the wall 8 to 5. You know what I mean? Like they're no
especially working remotely. I would completely agree with you. Go ahead, Steve.
I can see the logic to, I think everybody knows 2 or 3 o'clock comes along, and you're like, so I can understand. I can understand how 6 hours might make some sense from that perspective. But if somebody goes in, starts work at 9 o'clock. And at 9:15, they get up, go to the cafeteria, and shoot the breeze with the coworkers from 9:15 to 9:30 before they go back to their desk. Turning it into a 6-hour workday is probably not going to prevent them from at 9:15 getting up from the desk and going to the cafeteria and shooting the shit and coming back at 9:30.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it might cause more stress because you're cutting the amount of time that people have to work.
Yeah.
So
that's could backfire.
And we're not. I don't want to be confused. We're not shitting on getting up out of your desk and commingling and talking to your coworkers. Good shit happens when that happens. So that's why a lot of employers allow fraternizing and talking, because two heads are better than one sometimes. Maybe you got this idea and you got to run it by Bob, and maybe Bob is a genius at this. So you're going to sit and have a cup of coffee with Bob because Bob's going to be like, that's a pitfall. You don't want to do that. And then maybe you go back to your desk and create something amazing for the company.
Solid.
So it's not saying that's a bad thing, but a 6-hour work week might put pressure that you might not talk to Bob and your project might turn to shit.
Yeah, exactly. And Steve, you made a great point as well in pre-production. If you're going to work 6 hours, guess what? You're going to get paid for 6 hours. You're not going to get paid a full-time salary for 8-hour works.
Yeah,
I don't see how that's going to be even possible, to be perfectly honest.
When we've talked about other structures like the 4-day work week, you said, that involves just taking the same 40 hours and just redistributing them, among 4 days instead of 5 days.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of those work week structures go. This one, what I haven't heard is anything about shifting the work week around. So what you're just saying is you're going to work 6 hours Monday to Friday. 6 times 5 is 30 hours.
Yeah.
Well, where are the other 10?
40 hours. And my concern is, people are going to be like, oh, I'm working 30 hours, but I expect to be paid for 40. Well, that's not how business can run.
Exactly. Yeah, that's not how any business can run. If you stop and think about that, really. You can't just all of a sudden just say, oh, well, I'm going to close it down at 3 o'clock and that's it. it's like you got to keep it going. Now, it depends on the scheduling where you put people to cover those particular hours. I can only think like in terms of retail, like just retail alone. If you close by 3 o'clock, you're gonna have a lot of pissed off customers.
I think in a retail setting, an office setting is I think what this is more geared to.
Exactly, yeah.
Because everybody in the office generally comes in about the same time and leaves about the same time, 9 to 5, 8 to 4, whatever.
Or whatever the case may be.
Retail setting, you would have to be spreading because they're usually open, 10 to 8 or 10 to 9, so you'd be spreading people out.
You got multiple shifts going on.
You could do that easier in retail.
You probably could.
Yes, they'd only be paid for
6 hours.
Like they're only going to be paid for 6 hours. Who wants to? I mean, unless you're independently wealthy and you're working for Walmart, like why would 6 hours be a good idea? Like if I'm working for Walmart, right? I don't. No, I want 13 hours. You know what I mean? I don't want 6 hours. Can I stock the shelves back there because I would like to get a bigger paycheck.
There are people who want to work overtime for that very reason. They want more money.
I am one of them. I enjoy working overtime. I have no problem working extra hours.
There you go.
I don't like to work a lot of them, but I like when the pay flips and you get more for when you're. I always enjoy that. That's fun.
I will say this.
That's the life I live.
I will say this, though. When I worked for a couple of organizations ago, Iron Mountain, they gave us the option. They paid us every 2 weeks. So you're talking 80 hours, right? So they gave us the option to have flexible scheduling, but you had to make sure that it was 80 hours. So people started to calculate in their heads, okay, well, if I take only a half an hour lunch, but come in a half an hour early, you got 8.5 hours per day. If you multiply out times 9, that eventually runs out, I believe, to 80 hours. So you have every other Friday off.
Which is awesome.
That's the kind of thinking. Now, you want to talk, I was very productive with that. I thought it was awesome. It was just the fact, you get up a little early in the morning. You get up at 7, probably to get up there at 7:30. You're walking on, you're getting your coffee, whatever the case may be, and then you're off. But you only have a half an hour, and you're right back at it. You keep it going. But by the time that Thursday before the Friday afternoon hit, or before Friday hit, man, you were focused because it was like, oh man, I cannot wait. I'm off every other Friday. Are you freaking kidding me? That's how I was able, Steve, actually to come and visit you for lunch every other Friday because I had that day off. I didn't have to take PTO. I had it worked into the schedule. I was able to come down and visit you downtown and have lunch with you. So, but that's a great ingenious invention, really.
That's a super productive thing there.
Exactly.
That's what this 6 hour thing I don't think focuses on at all.
I think that is, in a way, it's attempting to say, okay, well, people are most productive. I think, see, what you just said was perfect a few minutes ago. People are most productive between 8 and 3, and then they coast the rest of the afternoon. Well, okay, we want to make sure that 8 to 3 is captured. But what they're not telling you is, what about the extra 2 hours? That's the problem per day. That extra 2 hours where you're not really doing all that much, you're still getting paid for it. You know what I mean? Like, that's still not, you know what I mean?
Are they trying to cut that out? Because they didn't say, really. They didn't say what happens with...
Yeah, I mean, they're basically just saying that
salary is not discussed. Like, is this person making $65,000 a year?
It's very broad.
Working 40 hours a week that is now working 30.
John, it's very broad. It's basically saying it could prove a practical solution for more types of businesses and go a long way towards improving the lives of workers too.
See, I think that's bullshit. I don't think they're trying to improve the lives of workers. I think they're trying to figure out a way to how can we get all our shit done with these people in less time so we don't have to deal with them.
And we don't have to pay them as much.
Yeah, exactly. That's what this sounds like.
When you have, and when you add that into right now, at time of this recording, when inflation is so bad, I don't think you want to shorten your work hours.
Yeah, I don't
want every dollar you want earned at this point.
I'm not interested in taking less money at this point.
Yeah, John, you just made a great point. I'm just thinking through it in my head. If the employers are calculating in their heads, well, they come in for 8 hours, I pay them for 8 hours. But from 3 to 5 o'clock, they're basically brain dead and useless to me.
Yeah.
Why am I paying for them that? I could give them 6 hours, get the same work done.
Yep.
and tell them, I'm giving them mental health breaks or whatever, but at the same time, pay them less because they're not going to be around for those last 2 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
All by improving the life and the well-being of the individual. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Today's episode is brought to you by Hardee's. No, not Hardee's, the fast food chain. HeartEase, the maker of medical devices associated with keeping your heart in tip-top shape. You have to check out our latest product, the Pacer 3.0. It's a cutting-edge technology pacemaker. We install all of the hardware, and then once you pay the monthly subscription fee of $999.95, we remove the software block so it will run. Of course, if you don't continue paying, we simply reactivate the block to stop your pacemaker. Simple as that. Who doesn't want the freedom to live month to month? Ask your physician about the Pacer 3.0. You won't regret it till you miss a payment.
John, what are you doing, man?
Oh, sorry, I forgot. I got to pay Peacock and Netflix. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know about that subscription fee that Steve had. Where the heck did Steve go?
I don't know. Maybe they turned it off.
Yeah, I forgot to pay my pacemaker subscription.
Oh my gosh.
Good thing you're back.
I get the hat. Man alive. Man, I'm not sure.
Hey, just enough juice left to dial the number.
I don't even know what to say in regards to that. But anyway, let's move on to topic 3, guys.
I don't know what's worse, the paying a subscription for pacemaker or using a hammer and chisel.
And a hammer and a nail. Well, yeah, I don't know about that either. Well, you're going to love this story, Steve. Topic 3 here. Nearly half of drivers use potentially impairing medications, AAA study finds. Yikes. Yeah, this is not good. Steve leaves stage right.
Yes.
While we accept as fact that some drivers on U.S. roads may take medications, a new AAA Foundation study found that nearly half of U.S. drivers may be using potentially driver-impairing medications. Worse, many of them have no idea that their medications can hamper their ability to drive safely. AAA study, drivers aged 16 and up, nearly 50% of respondents admitted using one or more drugs with potentially impairing effects. Those include antihistamines, cough medicines, antidepressants, prescription pain medications, muscle relaxers, sleep aids, including barbiturates or amphetamines in the past 30 days, gents. Yikes.
And they own a cell phone.
Yeah, we're not even including the cell phone here. Many potential driving impairing medications have potential effects that could be dangerous when mixed with driving. Dizziness, sleeping, fainting, blurred vision, slowed movement, and attention problems, and other assorted paraphernalia that that all the lawyers will file in and put in with their advertisements. Good grief almighty, guys, this is not good. John, thoughts on this? Crazy, right? I mean,
I'm not shocked at all.
No.
I drive a lot, so I'm not shocked at all.
No.
But I was very it was a very interesting read. The thing that caught me the most was that there's a lot that don't even know they're doing it. And this is on top of the cell phone stuff.
Yeah.
So everybody's been on the road with the driver with the cell phone and the FaceTime and they're driving 50 miles an hour in the middle lane and you're just like, well, where do I go so we don't get into an accident? Like,
yeah.
Can you stop swerving a little bit so I can just get around you? And
is it possible you could keep that straight on the line for me, please?
FaceTime straight for like 12 seconds so I can get past you. We've all been there.
Let's slow the car to a stop before we do that, please.
This is a bit scary. I drive in a state that has billboards that have to remind you not to crash your car.
Same.
So
yeah,
I'm already aware of how how heavy duty this could be. But yet there are literal billboards in Texas that be like, yo, put your phone down, like you're trying to go to Walmart. Like, just go. Just
Texas
go to Walmart,
is not the only state.
Pennsylvania.
Texas is not the only state with billboards like that, trust me.
No, yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's really the fact that they even put in like cough medication in here.
There are some cough medicines that I've taken before that you feel some effect.
Little loopy.
Don't take NyQuil in the middle of the day. That'll mess you up. You know, and Mucinex will mess you up no matter what time of day it is.
Heck yeah, absolutely. I keep thinking of like, you know, one would be a good thing, like wisdom teeth surgery. I remember being on a couple of those, you know, the pain pit medications, and it's like,
hey, you're not supposed to be driving.
The last thing you want to do is get behind a wheel once you take one of those things. Good Lord Almighty. But yeah, I mean, this is just, it's scary to see, and the fact that 50% admitted to using it, and not only that, but the fact that they had no idea that it could hamper their ability.
If 50% said yes, I got to say it's 75% then.
I'm actually gonna say the number is probably actually less, because I mean the broad categories that you're talking about, you know, antihistamine, right? Yeah, if you're taking Benadryl, you should not get behind the wheel of a car. I mean, if anybody's ever taken Benadryl, that's, you know, I take it as a last resort.
Yeah.
Because I imagine that when the Benadryl wears off, that's what a hangover feels like. So I would never drive on Benadryl, but I believe stuff like Claritin is also an antihistamine.
I believe you're right.
But I don't think Claritin would do anything to impair your driving ability.
It's such a small dosage. I think you're right, Steve. Yeah, it is a very small dosage. Yeah.
So when they say, well, have you, you know, I don't know what the question in protocol was, but if the question was, have you ever driven on an antihistamine? Well, yeah, I took a Claritin, which is 24 hours, and I drove to work, you know. You wouldn't think anything of that. It's sort of the same thing with like cough medicines. You know, if there are cough medicines that would be more impactful than others, depending on what you took.
Oh yeah. I don't think Robitussin's going to put you on your ass.
No.
Right. So the numbers on that end may be skewed a little bit because people know what they're taking, but think it's not, and maybe AAA is categorizing it too greatly. But the stuff on the other end of the chart, like, this is my message to those people who are out there driving on prescription painkillers and muscle relaxers. I'm just going to quote Lou Brown from Major League. Knock that shit off.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to be on the road with your ass.
No, absolutely not. No.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
It's interesting here, while the number who responded saying that they consumed only one of the PDIs, which is the, if I'm pulling it up, potentially driver impairing medications in the past 30 days seems low.
Came up with an acronym for it.
Yeah, seriously. Everything is an acronym to make it short. Johnny, come on. They do not account for respondents who were using more than one of those medications, which is where the response rate balloons to more than 40%. Further compounding the issue is the fact that among those who responded yes to using any number of those PDIs, a large number indicated that they had used them within 2 hours of getting behind the wheel. That's my issue. Like, if you're sick, stay home, for God's sakes. Do not get into a car and drive somewhere after
this is the world, but this is the world we live in.
I know, Johnny.
Everybody's expected to perform at their highest ability.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, you know, can't do that. So they need their, you know, medication, and they need, you know, their painkillers just so they can get to work, because maybe their knee hurts and nobody likes them at work. So I can see how we got here.
I'm not going to criticize that aspect of people thinking that they're needed like that, but I mean, for God's sake, you can't get somebody to drive you. You can't hail an Uber.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah.
You got to threaten all our lives by getting behind the wheel because you took an opioid, for God's sake. Come on.
But also the problem is I won't let it go because I see it all the time. They also have cell phones in their hands.
Yep.
That's the thing that's scary to me, because
seen that.
It's
yeah. I just saw it last night.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
But I'm
gonna
get
up there and you're
I'm gonna get there, but but 17 people need to
I got
talk.
posted something on Facebook real quick. No, you don't. You don't need to post anything
There's
on Facebook
no-
while you're driving.
Yeah, Facebook while you're driving.
Yeah, there's none of that stuff. In fact, one thing that I will mention this, USAA, the auto insurance, and any auto insurance, like, I think company, it's not just USAA, but I think most of them, probably you're thinking State Farm, Allstate, whatever the case may be. What do they reward? They reward good driving. Well, how do they do that? They put you have the option to do this. You get an app, and it's basically they track wherever you're going. And guess what? You get points. You're set at, like, you're going to get a 30% discount if you have nothing. If you make sure that you have no harsh braking, no phone pickups, none of that kind of stuff, where, you know, they rank you during that entire period. And depending on how well you fall, you could get like $100 off your insurance. I did that, and it was like I saved, like, it was like, I think close to $100 on that. And it's like, you want to reward good behavior, do something like that. Don't pick up your damn phone.
That's a little too intrusive for me.
Yeah,
But-
I don't want. Yeah,
That's the downside of it. I get that. But
stop watching
the
my dad.
potential to save on the auto insurance, the potential to promote good driving out there, that kind of a deal. It's been huge, I think, and it saves money in the long run.
It certainly can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but it's not going to.
It's personal responsibility.
It is
yeah.
personal responsibility, and it's not just cell phones. There's people who you'll see, like, driving down the road, and they've got a meal in their lap, and they're eating. Or the most infamous example I had was I was driving behind somebody at a 2-lane road, one way each way, and this woman was drifting. Kept drifting over to the oncoming traffic lane and then coming back. And when I got close enough to see what she was doing, she was doing her eye makeup
Nice.
in the rear view mirror.
Oh my god.
2 hands holding her eye open with the eyelash brush
Wow.
while she was driving.
Wow.
Yes.
Like, seriously? What?
Yeah.
What? How stupid do you have to be to think that is a good idea?
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
was telling you guys in pre-production in Nashville, I saw a lady eating cereal. The bowl of cereal between her legs, and she's eating cereal.
No, one, that takes skill to do, but two, it's like,
I
come
was
on.
very-
I mean, that milk, no way near my lap, man. No
That's what I'm
way.
saying. I'll eat a burger, like a fast food burger, with maybe chicken nuggets because I got a little thing and I can dip the chicken nuggets on the easy burger. At least there's a hand on the wheel, right?
Yeah.
That's only in extreme circumstances. if I'm really,
But
really
Johnny,
hungry.
But Johnny, no, not with the milk. No way.
I'm not on my phone eating a bowl of cereal.
No, not like that. No, especially if someone cuts you off. Where's that milk going? That milk is flying out of that bowl all
Literally
over the
eating
place.
a bowl
No,
of cereal.
thank you.
I like how Matt is, like, super intense about
He does
protecting
not
himself
want
from this milk.
spilled anywhere.
No. Same with coffee. Coffee, the same deal. You'll put your coffee in the middle of your lap while you're driving. No.
Well,
Doesn't work that
if
way.
you do that and you spill it on your lap and get burned, you deserve
Yeah,
whatever
exactly.
burns you get.
Because there's cup holders for that coffee.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And you can buy
exactly.
a tumbler and the shit won't fall out of it. You could
Exactly.
throw it at somebody and it won't come out.
But I just don't understand how people think it's safe to use a phone, take
I don't-
mentally impairing drugs, and get behind a wheel. To
I
do
don't
makeup in
think
their car.
it's safe. I think it's a
It's a convenience. It's
it's a
run.
fake it till you make it kind of thing. People don't take driving as seriously as they once did.
And yet they're going with a 2,000-pound car.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, they're responsible behind the wheel, and it's like, oh boy almighty.
I'm actually surprised in this world that we don't have more car accidents.
Yeah,
And we have a lot.
and we do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, the technology
I'm
that the cars are
shocked
coming
that
up
it
with,
isn't
though.
higher than it is.
Yeah, the technology that the cars are coming up with, though,
It doesn't
being
help.
more and more computerized. You're promoting greater
That's
like-
even scarier. Because
Yeah,
no
oh,
one
yeah.
brakes for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. That makes it worse because now you've got that the lane change warning. Tells you
Yep.
when you're changing lanes. You got the things in the,
Adaptive cruise control, all that kind of
right,
stuff.
right, the automatic braking.
Mhm.
People what I'm afraid of is people are going to start depending on that
Exactly.
and
Now they're
lose
gonna
the
start watching
skills
movies.
of, before I change lanes, look behind me, keep your eye on the road so you can brake if something happens. And they're going to rely on this technology. And then the time they need it, it's going to fail and somebody's going to get hurt.
Let me tell you something. That was exactly, to your point, Steve, that was exactly what my fear was. Because my car was in the shop for like maybe about a week getting some work done. And they gave me this huge car, this like massive car where it was with the adaptive cruise control. And you want to talk about like not having control of a car. It was like, whoa, okay, I got to make sure that my hands are on 10 and 2 at all times with this thing. It was at the one thing really cool to have that you're guiding the car in the lane. But at the same time, the temptation to let that go and let it drive itself, no way. No way, no how. That's why I think Tesla has it wrong with these self-driving cars, and you see all the stuff where it's like, all these glitches where they have to make sure all the patches, and when you're a video gamer, all the patches don't necessarily fix all the problems in that regard. So, yeah.
Self-driving Teslas give me anxiety. That's all I have to say.
All right, guys, fourth topic. Why don't we stay a little bit on the auto side, since we all love the drive here. But I think this is going to be very interesting not to buy a BMW anytime soon, particularly if you're living in the UK, because this is absolutely insane. Why BMW is offering heated seats on a monthly subscription. Monthly.
That sounds really familiar. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but
foreshadowing, people.
Foreshadowing. BMW is now offering British drivers the luxury or option of enjoying a heated seat on a monthly subscription basis. You can still get heated seats the regular way. Just buy them in, you throw them in as an option when you purchase the car, like any normal human being would. But for those who didn't do that, or who bought a used car without it, BMW will enable it for a monthly fee. So you can try it out. It's offered at about £10 a month or $12. Now, what's that, Johnny?
BMW just lying to everybody? Like, so in every BMW there are heated seats. They just remove the buttons. I think they're admitting a lie, is what they're doing.
CNN Business saying that there were numerous reports earlier this week about BMW launching the program in South Korea, but that was a misunderstanding. It was a database error on the online store, according to the automaker. British program, real deal. They have spoken for years of plans to offer certain features, including heated seats on a subscription basis. The heating coils and other hardware required to actually heat the seats are already in the car, but owners can, if they wish, pay a monthly fee. Will allow them to actually work, which is stupid and ludicrous and moronic.
And that's how you really feel.
Yeah, exactly.
And if anybody that has any understanding of wiring, why couldn't you just wire a switch to it and turn it on?
Right?
You already put everything in there. I mean, on and off buttons are pretty easy.
I don't understand this. But I think Steve made the great point in production, which was, Steve, go ahead and take it. It's all about greed, right?
Oh, it's absolutely about greed. And it comes as no surprise to me that BMW is the one to be rolling this out.
I know. They're at least putting it out there. Yeah.
BMW are the ones that will put all the coils in, but they won't wire it. And then off you with subscription.
Exactly.
Oh, we'll just wire it. We'll put it to a button for you for a month.
Thought piece, guys. I recently had YouTube Premium. I basically didn't have ads for about a couple months. It was like $12. It was pretty good, but then it was like, you know what? Cost cutting measure, need to cut it back. Now the ads are back on YouTube, and I'm thinking, skip ads. But at least it's free, in that regard. So I don't mind the ads so much, but it's taking a while to get used to. Let's talk about the subscriptions we've purchased in the past that we regret. One for me was Netflix for sure.
I don't really think I had a subscription that I because you just get rid of it if you don't like subscription services. Like Peacock's been weird.
Yeah.
Because the only reason I did it is because of the WWE Network.
Yeah.
Like literally,
SummerSlam, by the way, coming up tonight.
The only reason I was paying Vince McMahon $10, and then Vince McMahon sold shit off and told me I had to pay somebody else, and I was like, well, I'm already paying you $10. I'll just pay him $10. That's fine. I don't care. And I can just watch pay-per-views. Cool. I'm
Premium live events now, Johnny. How about that?
Whatever that is.
Whatever they're calling it.
I'm fine with that. Like, I'd rather not. But
Yeah.
also, I don't have cable, so I'm not paying for TV anyway. Like I only have 2 subscription services. I have Netflix and Peacock.
Of course, we've ranted and railed over the fact that the Phillies, some of the games have been on Peacock.
Yeah, Steve texted us last weekend that they were on Peacock, and I didn't watch the game.
No, only one of them was. The other one was on like an Apple.
Yeah, it was on
the Apple TV.
So
Yeah.
2 out of the 3 games. 2 out of the 3
weekend.
games you couldn't watch unless you had both Apple and Peacock.
See?
That was Friday, Sunday.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
By the way, Apple TV is a yearly subscription service, $60. So it's about $5 a month.
that's dumb.
Yeah.
That's
I have it because it's like, but see, that's the thing. I got rid of cable.
yeah.
And I'm thinking like, well, okay, I've got.
Well, you need to
TV
watch
and-
something. That's
Right.
That's the Peacock for me and Netflix. My wife likes some of the Netflix stuff. She likes some of the Peacock stuff. So she's entertained with that. That's fine. I have the WWE stuff. I have all the WWE Network, and I've actually watched a couple good movies that NBC, whatever their movie thing
Universal
is.
thing or whatever. Yeah.
It's a couple. They've actually put out a couple pretty good movies that were very under the radar. But I don't watch much TV anyway. I'm not. I don't. I don't do much of. Other than Too Noobs and working. So I don't really do much. I'm not like craving for something. So I'm the worst person in the world to do subscription services with because I don't know. And
Yeah. No, that's funny.
I say,
Steve, though.
Cool. I don't know.
Steve, though, I think you're straight cable, correct? You don't have any subscription services, I don't believe, right?
I am straight cable because even if I were to cut cable, I'd still need to pay for internet.
Yes.
And then to get the subscriptions, I would need to get back what I want to watch. I'm not going to save much money. So
Yeah.
just seems better to me. I don't think I have any subscriptions to other things that I regret. But what bugged me about this particular article was at least when you have a Netflix subscription,
Yes.
Netflix on the other end is continually providing you a service
Yes.
in response to that payment.
Yes.
Whereas when you pay a monthly subscription to BMW, all they do is go, there, your heated car seat works. There, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Immediately.
Flipping a switch, like they're not providing you anything in exchange for that monthly fee other than allowing you the benefit of using the equipment that's already there
in the car. Exactly. Because this is interesting. And this I'll just read this paragraph. Some other features already being offered by subscription in the United States. North American BMW users, they can purchase a remote start package. So you can remote start your car, but you have to go through the cell phone. And that's a subscription fee. Honda does that too, by the way. You can do that.
Yeah.
They have a remote start through the cell phone. That kind of a deal. Another function BMW uses is the drive recorder. What is that? Well, that uses the car's external cameras to make video recordings, like a dashboard camera. Also available by subscription.
And I would want that. Why?
Well, automobile accidents, let's just say.
They're just trying to make money left and right.
And they're making money left and right. Exactly.
That's all they're trying to do.
That's ultimately my point is they're doing this to make money because I'm sure in the end somebody paying to have their heated seat is going to be paying more in subscription fees than they would to just buy the damn thing outright.
Yes.
And this is what I fear will continue to happen with more and more. Pretty soon you won't be able to start the car without paying a monthly subscription fee. And so it's just your
1999's due, but I got to get to work. I don't have 1999. Oh, well, bad. His keys don't work anymore. Restart it for you.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be a shame if your brakes stopped working.
And that's the thing that creeps me about this BMW thing is it's already installed. So what else have they put in the car that they're going to hold over your head?
Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing. I don't know. Subaru charges a monthly fee for remote start function through an app. Though it also sells an unlimited remote start function for a higher upfront cost. So you have unlimited,
or
but you got to pay more.
Use my key fob remote start and
yeah. The benefit of the remote start is really just to show off, but that's about it.
Well, I mean, on a really hot day, you can turn it on.
Yeah, you can get some AC
windows, all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
you can get some heat in there. Yeah.
John, your boy Tesla, your boy Elon Musk here. Tesla has used software to artificially limit the battery range of its lower end models for years, sometimes unlocking longer range in certain situations.
I don't believe anything he says because he actually said months ago that he had to stop production because of a USB cord that was only this big. To plug something in, and they weren't smart enough to put a bigger cord in. So nothing he says actually makes any sense when it comes to cars.
John, I will believe what he said because basically what I just heard was for the lower end models where they're not making as much money, they're going to limit how far you can drive with it.
That makes sense. That seems like something he would do.
Right.
But when it's like comes to wire, he has no idea what he's doing at all. Nothing. Like I wouldn't get in one of those cars. Like you could give me a Tesla and I wouldn't drive it.
No.
I mean, apparently he dated Amber Heard. Just that's enough said.
Yeah, exactly. That's absolutely enough.
That should explain everything at that point. All right, guys. Hey, how about a fifth topic? And it's get off my lawn. It's the get off my lawn segment. Why the hell not? Because the NFL continues to go down ridiculous routes with these alternate helmets that have been released for 2022. And guys, why don't we just go through the list? We're not going to go through the Cowboys. Cowboys don't really change all that much, which was listed on here, but we're going to get them out of here. But we're going to just start already right now with the Carolina Panthers. Going to flash that on screen here. We got an all-black helmet with a Carolina blue, and the Panther head is black with its typical blue. Steve, thoughts on this helmet? Kind of hard to see a little bit, isn't it?
It's a little too plain for my taste.
There you go.
It goes back to my analogy of like the bar league jersey where you can only afford two colors.
Yep.
I feel like they could have done a little better with this. I don't know, maybe make the cat silver. They're usually silver helmets with a black cat with the blue outline. So maybe do the cat in silver or something, or do I don't know.
If they would have reversed the colors and grab that silver and made it the cat with the outline of the teal,
maybe,
and then the black helmet, I'd be okay with it. But the fact that everything is black and this is Photoshop 101. Stroke everything in one color while everything else is another color. It's not hard to do.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Johnny. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of, you can't really make it out, to be honest with you. I think from a distance, you really couldn't make it out. I think that would be the issue I would have.
It's not going to be fun to watch Carolina.
Right, so we're going to get rid of that going that way. Sorry. Now we're going to bring in the Chicago Bears here. Wow, this is loud. Basically, they have reversed the typically navy blue color with the orange. Well, they've reversed it. No, I don't think that would work. John, what do you think?
This is the Cleveland Browns with a C on it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cleveland
just
Browns
missing the stripe.
Yeah. But we've already done this helmet, like that gaudy color that's orange or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's all that we're seeing.
But with the Browns, it works. With the Bears,
because it's their name. Only works.
No,
with their name.
but the Browns are brown. This looks like their players are going to be running around with safety cones on their heads.
I don't even think it's that loud.
If they do this with their orange jerseys, good Lord.
Yeah, you're gonna get what you're gonna get is you're gonna get the Denver Broncos when they did that really loud thing.
Yeah.
Remember last year? That was disgusting.
That was just really, really bad.
You're gonna have to find the contrast and hue settings on your TV.
Whatever happened to the Chicago Bears where they just wore
Yeah.
We just wore blue and white.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that?
Whatever happened to
fun.
that? No, they have to make it different. Moving on. All right, so let's take a look at the Arizona Cardinals here. Now, okay, got an all-black helmet with the red head of the bird. Typically, they're white helmet with the red. What are your thoughts on that, Steve? I'm going to go with you first.
I don't hate it. But
I don't either.
I don't think the bird stands out enough on the black background that it does on the white.
If you had a white outline on there?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe with the white outline would have helped.
Okay.
If this is only going to be with their black jerseys, I'm happy as hell that they have the black helmet with the black jersey.
Black jersey.
And then they could do the white helmet with the red jerseys and the white jerseys. That would be, I think that would work out really well. But they need some kind of outliner, right? Like just having that on a... I hate that. When you just mat a logo onto a black background with no... There has to be some kind of...
Yeah, it seems to be but overall, seems to be a pretty good...
It's not bad. If they're using
it
right, Don't
it's
put that
on unfinished concept.
Exactly.
Don't put that
close,
on
but not quite. Yeah. All right.
Your red, that would look terrible on your red jersey.
All right, so now let's bring in the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles, of course, now black, solid black. Not much in the way of green here, gents. John, thoughts on this one? It's kind of interesting.
They always kind of look goofy with the midnight green and the black jersey. This might work well, but I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this at all near their green stuff.
No.
Oh, this better be just specific to black.
If it's black on black, good to go. Yeah.
Full on blackout. I understand. Those wings just look good. I mean, call me biased, but those wings look good on anything. So
definitely probably best helmet so far we've seen.
That's the difference between this one and the Cardinals one is the wings stand out against the black because you've got multiple colors. The
got the white outline.
Got the white outline. The Cardinal one, it's just black right into the red.
Exactly. Yeah, it kind of blends in where you don't really
Cardinal
see an
had
ending.
That white, like Matt was saying, it would pop so much better.
Yeah, but I agree with you guys. You know, if they're wearing the black jerseys, but don't wear this with the green.
Yeah.
Maybe the white, but maybe you can get away with the white jersey. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you do that white helmet with the white jersey and the black pants, like the AJ Feely days, that would still
white
look.
Helmet back then?
No, the black helmet with the
black helmet,
the white jersey and the black pants.
Okay.
We had AJ Feely days.
Remember when they did that? It was like 1 year. They did.
Maybe there might have been 1 or 2 games.
They were doing weird stuff with the black jersey.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember it once.
This is probably the best one we've seen so far. Agreed? I mean,
Agreed.
Not taking... Yeah, okay.
Agree. It's just weird that John would refer to any era of Eagles history as the AJ Feely.
Because I think he was the starting quarterback. That's the
only. He was 1 year.
He was the starting quarterback for like 3 games.
That's what I'm saying, and I think that was the time frame.
I think that was the. Correct me if I'm wrong. That might be the year where he led us like into the division, won all 3 division games with everybody hurt. I think that was that year. I think.
Who knows?
All right, so let's take a look at the Saints here. Saints traditionally gold with black and white stripe down the middle, very classic look. No.
Their uniforms are so awesome, in my opinion. Helmet, whatever, even when they do the full gold or the full black.
I grant you that.
I have no issues with the New Orleans Saints jerseys at all, except for this helmet.
But Johnny, correct me if I'm wrong. Like the stripe down the middle, are those all individual Saint logos going down the center there?
Yes. I'm sorry, I don't know exactly what they're called.
Fleur de lis.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. That's what they are. They're individually going all the way to the back.
Really?
Like a weird Ohio State with the Buckeye, with the all over the helmet. Like it reminds me of that. I don't like that at all.
I was just gonna say, if they're gonna do that, they might as well do it like Ohio State. And every time you make a tackle or something, you get
a sticker.
Yeah, you get one. So if you're gonna do a black helmet, they should do something like that.
Yeah.
This doesn't fit with any of
I mean, I appreciate the fleur-de-lis on the side of the head.
Oh, if this was just the black helmet with the thing on the side,
it would be cool.
I would be perfectly happy with it. It's that goofy shit down the middle that's ruining the whole thing.
Because it's not a stripe. It's
not.
It's like a weird gold accent that doesn't accent anything.
Yeah, just doesn't work. Okay, get rid of that. All right, so here we go, guys, with the Texans. Now, here in the original helmet, you've got the navy blue with, the horn head or whatever with red. Now, what they've done is they have red helmets to accent the red on the first half of their logo with the blue. Now, John, you're close to Texas. You're close to Houston. You were there actually this last week.
I have no opinion on the Houston, Texas brand because I don't think they've even figured it out yet themselves. So how can we? This is
yeah, it's hard to say because they were an expansion team. You're right. 2002 is when they came in. So
this is just a bizarre. It could work because God knows what colors they're using now. Because I've seen them in full red. I've seen them in full blue. I've seen them in full white. I've seen them with tops that are blue, tops that are red, tops that are white.
Yeah.
I've seen them with pants that are like they've had so many different changes.
Mm-hmm.
The logo's cool in certain, like I've seen dudes with tattoos of it, where the logo's cooler than it looks on the NFL helmet.
Yeah.
It looks cooler.
It is a decent logo. I will say that.
I think they've got something. I understand it's red, white, and blue. I think that's the problem.
Yeah. I could see.
Haven't figured out how to do it yet.
Eagles play Houston. I could see them wearing this helmet when we play them.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I don't hate it, but I also don't know what it is.
Yeah. Steve, what are your thoughts there? Kind of an interesting. I would just put it at that.
I think the logo's fine. I think the problem is with this red helmet, it looks way too much like a Buffalo Bills.
Interesting, yeah.
Like Jim Kelly days.
Yeah.
But even that red wasn't as bright back then. I mean, it was like you had a little bit of blue in there and the white stripes.
Yeah. I think there's just too much red.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It would definitely pop on TV. We'll have to see how that looks. Okay, guys. Get rid of the Texans here. Let's bring in the New York Jets. Not much to say about this one, other than it
sucks.
It sucks.
It's bad.
Let's just shit on the Jets for a while.
We were angry about Carolina not putting like.
This has no thought to it, though, Johnny.
Yeah,
right?
You had a chance of taking a black approach, like a black jersey approach, because they do have a black jersey. You could have went right back to the Joe Namath days and did like a flip on that. Like, because that was the white helmet with the green.
Yeah.
They could have done so much with their history, but like the Jets, they don't have a history. So they don't know how to do anything. So they just did what they always do. They put Jets on the side of a helmet, put a football there, called it a day.
There you go. I will say for me, the best Jets helmet that I saw was back in the 80s, where they had it was like a robotic looking Jets written across there. I thought that was.
Jets ever had a good logo.
But that was the best one. That's my thing. That was the best looking logo that they ever had. They've never gone. They left that and they've never gone back to it since, and they've sucked ever since.
What a bad franchise.
It's just really, really bad. Steve, your thoughts on the Jets here? It seems to be. What are you thinking?
That green is just too dark.
Yeah.
You know, when you have a black helmet, you want something to pop out of it. And like the Eagle Wing does, the Cardinal semi does, that would have helped to have some white outline. The Carolina Panther doesn't really do, and this Jets thing, even though it's got a white outline, the green itself is just so dark.
You can't see it.
It's hard to make out. So
they made the front green.
Yeah.
Now there's too much green.
Too much dark green.
It's too much dark green.
Why are we hunter green? And I didn't know the Jets were hunter green. And
yeah, Gotham Green is what they're called.
That's ridiculous.
That's so ridiculous.
That is made up.
Hey, speaking of ridiculous, since we moved the Jets out of the way, let's bring in something equally as ridiculous, if not more. Let's shit on the Washington Commanders like we've done before, Jets. I don't even know what to make of this, other than I think Daniel Snyder's son made it, who's, I don't know how old he is, but
can I handle
either that
this?
or an 8-year-old made it.
Can I handle this with profanity?
Oh, please. John,
they painted their fucking helmets black and moved the fucking W to the front. Like, this is their name all over again. I've got 12 ideas. Fuck it, we'll go with that. This is literally how the Commanders do business. They took the W, moved it to the front, painted everything black. People love this.
You know, I saw like a Twitter meme somewhere. I think it was like some people were just like standing outside, like watching the training camp, and it was like, you're talking maybe about a handful of people, and someone said, Commanders fans outside watching training camp day 2, and it's like 10 people. I mean, it was just Steve.
Those 10 people, this franchise hates you. They hate everything that you've ever stood for football. Every beautiful jersey they've ever had, all the colors, all the wonders. We hate the Washington franchise because of their pageantry and the love for football. If you are a Commanders fan now, they hate you in a way.
Yeah.
We're showing you on screen. They hate you.
Yeah.
They just hate you.
What do you think, Steve? Your thoughts on this monstrosity?
All right, now that John has his rant, let me get mine.
Out of here. Go for it.
Here's the process that they went through just first. Okay. What's a commander? Well, we don't friggin' know. Got nothing to put on the helmet. All right, what are our colors? Our colors are burgundy, gold, and white. Let's make the helmet black. All right, so they get a can of spray. They got a pan, not even spray paint. It's the what's the stuff you put around like the basement window that seals it? The
oh god,
the sealant.
Sealant, yeah, the black sealant. You put that on the helmet. That looks sharp. A black helmet. Oh, we forgot the logo. No, just spray paint a yellow W right there on the top. On the top. Yeah, on the top. I think that'll look classy. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Good. What's a commander? I don't know. Just give him this.
Here's my only thing. Here's my only thing with the logo on the front. Does anybody realize that the NFL shoots from the fucking side? Just saying. I'm just saying. Like,
just saying.
They even have a clue that they shoot from the side, so the helmets have to have the logo on the side because that's where the cameras are.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to circle back to trademark infringement? I mean, they look like the Pittsburgh Steelers now.
They really do. Yes. They really do. You're right on the money on that. Yeah, that's a great point. All right, guys, but I got the worst for last year. Let's bring in Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Bengals, who made the Super Bowl last year and decided to bring in this.
This is what you do when
monstrosity.
you make it to the Super Bowl. You make drastic decisions.
This is not good. Now, there are white tigers that are out there, but I don't know if there are 53 of them roaming around the entire world right now.
There might be 53, but you're talking like...
Yeah, but spread out.
Yeah, the rest of the tigers are way. There's a lot more of them.
Steve, your thoughts? White with black. No orange whatsoever. None.
After shitting on the Commanders, I don't think I'm any of the opinion anymore that the Bengals one is the worst. I think the Commanders one is the worst. Because at least the Bengals had some white in their repertoire. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Commanders. Again, like I said, we're burgundy, gold, and white.
Yeah, which are
nowhere to be found. All of a sudden we got black somehow.
Nowhere to be found.
That's a little weird.
Yeah.
But the Bengals one, they better just wear these with the white jerseys because with the orange jerseys, this is not going to work.
It's just not going to work.
And when they wear it with the white jerseys, it's just going to look like they're playing on a newspaper.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. It's so slapstick comic book to me. Like,
like you drained all the color out of it.
Yeah.
It's
for what purpose? I don't know.
The one thing I can actually concept looking at this now is if they do a straight white and black right, as a one-time thing, and you just have the stripes on the jersey, you have the stripes on the pants, and there's an absence of that Bengal orange. That would be cool. But if you're gonna bring this out more than once, you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see who they bring it out against. So, which begs the question, guys, of the 9 that we have, I'm going to ask you for this. Of the 9 helmets, I'm going to ask you an overall grade. Who would you nominate as the best helmet outside of the Eagles? And of course,
we're removing bias. Okay.
Yes, we're removing bias.
That's
best
fine.
one outside of the Eagles, worst one. So overall letter grade. John, I'm going to go to you first with that. What do you think of the alternate helmets here? If you had to guess it.
The best one?
No, I'm saying overall. Of the 9 helmets, what would be your letter grade?
It's a C at best.
Okay. Steve, letter grade for all helmets.
Overall, I would say D+ with the Commanders bringing the curve way down.
Way down. I'm going to go D as a, because I think I hate change to begin with, and I think most, if not all of these are crap. I don't know where they're going with this, but that's old man. That's just me being that. Best one outside of the Eagles. John, go to you first.
I'm gonna have to go with the Texans.
Okay.
It's the only one I can stand to look at right now.
Steve, best one to look at outside of the Eagles would be.
I think I will concur with Mr. Tracy on that.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I think they're on to something there. I think a little bit more white would have helped the bird head there, the cardinal head. Worst one, John.
Commanders, absolutely.
100%. Steve, worst one.
Yeah, the Commanders.
They put a fucking W on the front of the helmet.
Yeah, which
is going to
fly off. Which is the thing. That's the crown of the helmet, right? That's going to be like, people are going to be knocking heads up against that W. That W is going to be flying off all over the place. It's going to be chipped.
You're never going to see it on TV, so you're just going to see a team with black helmets with no logo.
What the hell are they doing? Oh my!
They put it on the top. They used a color that wasn't in their color scheme at all.
Yeah.
They basically look like another team now.
USFL, welcome to the NFL, man. Good Lord Almighty. Not good.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
This is awful.
It's awful. I didn't realize how much I hated it.
Until now.
The more I look at it, the more I hate it. It's just,
it's just bad.
The cameras are on the side of the field.
Yeah, I know.
You're never gonna see that W.
Oh my
The
gosh.
way Fox and CBS produces football, you're never, unless they do an end zone. If Carson Wentz actually throws a touchdown pass to a wide receiver and he's running towards you, that's the only time you're ever gonna see it.
Awful. Just awful.
more likely Carson Wentz is going to pitch a lateral to a defensive lineman.
Yeah, well, that's true.
See it going the other way.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, that's it. That officially ends episode 95 of Two Noobs Talking. And as always, guys, it's great to be able to spend some time with you and talk about the news of the day. I will be heading to Mr. Murray's house. We're going to be doing the Torn ACL draft lottery later. So
completely unbiased and fair.
Exactly.
Yeah. Always.
We're going to be screwing over Glenn, as we always do. Anyway. But as always, gents, as we do, as our signature sign-off, John, where can people find us on Two Noobs, bud?
TikTok, Clapper, Instagram, Facebook Reels, who loves us, by the way. Like, we're getting some runs over there. 500 more looked.
There you go.
We're short videos at Steve Cuts that I steal to bring you to our
main YouTube channel, and that's the Two Noobs Talking podcast channel. Like, share, subscribe, get notified when our episodes drop Wednesdays at 7 Eastern Time. And on the audio side, Mr. Murray.
On the audio side, we are proudly hosted by Proudbean, who puts us out there into the world, including places like Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Pandora Radio, iHeartRadio, can't forget about Big Lenny, and Spotify.
There you go. That's it, guys. Episode 95 is in the books. It's on the 96, the Clyde Simmons episode. How about that? That's crazy. Getting ever closer to 100. Until then, guys, talk to y'all next week. Take care.
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed. That's a great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true.